Dr. Jane Mackenzie here from Miracle Medicine 365 Healthy by Choice at the 365 Healthy by Choice Bryanston Center. And we're talking about leading edge, groundbreaking, pioneering realignments and case studies. Today, we'll be focusing specifically on female sexual health, endometriosis, fibroids, and uterine degeneration. Last week, if you care to go to the YouTube channel, you will see we focused on erectile dysfunction and prostate degeneration. And that was quite a wow of a YouTube. We saw lots of things, discussed lots of things, and today as well. And many of the root causes, the lifestyle factors, the stress that affect men also affect women, and it just manifests in different ways. So let's dive into this, because it is the age of prevention, and it's part of my 2026 Health Revolution portfolio of presentations and webinars. So millions of people worldwide experience certain symptoms and struggle with endometriosis, fibroids, heavy bleeding, hormonal imbalances, infertility, pelvic pain, reduced libido, menopause symptoms, and chronic fatigue. And these are warning signs that there's something deeper underlying. There's a root cause deeper than what you just think. I'm going to uncover that for you today if you just watch until the end. I use my HILO process, the Holistic Integrated Epigenetic Life Orientation process, which is a quantum health well-being compass, to benchmark the risk factors, identify the root causes, realign the body, and then remeasure. It goes through a process of reset, restore, rejuvenate, and then rejoice. And I do have a case study to share with you a little bit later on. But let's have a look and see, what's causing fibroids, what's contributing to uterine degeneration, the role of hormones, and especially looking at circulation and inflammation, emotional stress, generational patterns. I'm going to be speaking about my holistic ancestral orientation, emotional release, the whole process. And that's formidable. And actually, if you can't really call yourself a holistic practitioner if you're not dealing with emotional purification as well, because that's actually where the deep down issue is. The body manifests the physical symptom, and it's the catalyst. The real issue is in the emotional space 100% of the time. So we want to look at those things. Also libido decline, and that's affecting women and men worldwide, more than 30%. So I'm going to also bring in certain things that we do to assist with detoxification, like the infrared saunas. We've got 2 14-micron infrared saunas here at the 365 Healthy by Choice Center, and these are magnificent. They're just an absolute therapeutic treatment. It's 30 minutes each way. And also we bring in the acupuncture, we bring in the NQB, formerly SKIO quantum assessments, and which I'm a licensed practitioner in, and we look at live blood analysis as well. And then we have the range of 365 Healthy by Choice toolkit. And these are nutrients that I've specifically designed. They form part of my signature range. And it's really a matter of uniquely looking at each individual and seeing what they need when, and what comes first and what comes second. So, but detoxification will always be first, and then we will bring in nourishment. And that's just how it is, because otherwise you bring in nourishment and the cell's not ready to take the nutrients and they swim past the cells. That's no good. So I do have 365 Healthy by Choice signature products to discuss today. And I will be bringing in the Ormus Gold, the infamous Ormus Gold, silver, copper, nickel, the platinum, precious metal minerals, the raw jelly, the cell oxygen, the DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, tree sap, the mucuna purines, decalcification flush, and some female hormonal rebalancing. So just by the way, these nutrients are on special. They're on a 15% discount this month. So just go to my website, www.365healthybychoice.com, and you will see the on sale sign, and you will see the 15% discount on many of these nutrients. So do avail yourself to that, because every bit does help. So we want to do emotional purification and physical purification. And towards the end, you will see my booking number and also the actual website details. So let's start with the presentation and looking at female sexual health, as it says here, with a specific focus. In next week, I will do fertility on its own, men and women fertility. So today I'm going to go over it, but I won't focus specifically on it. And we've got some key headings here because we're needing to have a look at the hormonal, emotional, and nutritional health. They are all very deeply connected. So hormones are released in response to the body's needs. And if stress is in the way or emotions are in the way or there's not enough nourishment, that doesn't happen. If the liver's blocked, if the blood is blocked, the signal doesn't get to the hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal axis, and the hormones aren't released. So hormone release is specific. It's damaged by emotion, stress, and the body being toxic and not enough actual nourishment, nutrients, because hormones are made from proteins. So we all know my replica RNA DNA formula, which is the 5 building block peptides for the entire body. Those need to be in place. So that's why I'm always advocating take the replica RNA DNA, because it's game over. You don't need to pick up another protein supplement. And it's also bacterial cell wall fragments that have been fermented. And the fragments are the 5 proteins just ready to conjugate whatever peptide form of amino acid you want in the body. So that's crucial. For example, you need the enzymes, you need the vitamins, the minerals, the phytosterols. So that all has to be absolutely in place. And so just understand that hormones can't just work on their own. So some people will go and take external hormones, testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, creams, etc., to try and balance it. That's simply putting a bandage on. So, for example, if there's a nail in the tire, do you put a bandage over it or do you take the nail out? Well, I take the nail out. So I'm looking at the causes. And there will definitely be an emotional cause. And it's definitely going to be related to mom, dad, grannies, grandpas, etc. There's going to be a cause. There's going to be an origin of this emotion that's stored. And it'll come down the generations, because you'll get mom with fibroids, daughter with fibroids, just as you get various diseases coming through down the genetic line. So epigenetic plays a very big part. That's why I bring in my how processing, because that's dealing with those epigenetics in the now, in the present. Once you clear that emotion, there's freedom. So there's alchemical healing. So we'll use nutritional healing and alchemical healing, and bring in the sun and the earth and water and hydration and air and all of that. So let's get back to the presentation, and I'm going to go to the next slide, which is going to be talking specifically now about fibroids, endometriosis, which is affecting millions of women worldwide. So what really are fibroids? Fibroids are almost veins that grow inside the uterus. I've actually seen many of my clients come in, the very thin clients, you get like a vein sticking out. You can actually see them. And after a month, they've gone. So that's how quickly my halo process works, the 365 Healthy by Choice detox. And as we purify physically and emotionally, it's really quick. Many people go for operations and all sorts of things. Remember, that's putting bandages on. I've got a lady now actually in India who's done all of that, and she's starting again with the detox, and she's missed out so many weeks already, when in fact they could have already been gone, because we deal with the root cause, you see. So it's up to you. I mean, I don't judge anybody, and your journey is your journey, but there is a way, and it's the 365 way. You know what I mean? I'm bringing in my halo process, and this has stood the test of time. You know, as you will see in the case study, we know what we're doing here, and this is what we need to do. That would be fibroids. And then endometriosis, the endometrial lining, which then gets infected, damaged, too thin, and parasitized. Both fibroids and endometriosis have one of the root causes as parasites and heavy metal toxicity. They will also have problems with fatty acids. The flaxseed oil forms a lining on the uterus lining, exactly where the fibroids grow as well. And you need flaxseed oil for that. For those of you who are new to this evening, new to my presentations, go and have a look on my YouTube channels, because I explain specifically the role of flaxseed oil. I'm a scientist, I'm a physicist, I'm a pharmacist originally. And, with my doctorate in holistic quantum well-being, we need to look at the body as a battery, and we need to bring in electricity in the form of minerals and an electrical potential, which the flaxseed oil does. So it's not a debate. This oil is the oil I need to work medicinally in the body to create that electrical potential across all these membranes, including the gut and the lungs, to allow food and oxygen to move in and wastes to move out and around that cell membrane, because it will form a barrier around the cell membrane, blocking the entry of viruses. So go and have a look more on that. And it keeps the membrane potential at the correct millivolts. That's essential too. Otherwise, you get dis-ease happening. So flaxseed oil is crucial for both of these. And also you'll see the Ormus Gold, the royal jellies, the DMSO, the circulation, the VitaFlow, and which I'll show you in a moment. But that really, I think, shows you what's going on in that uterine, in the uterine area. And often they will identify a single virus and say, oh my gosh, you have XYZ. That may be so, but things don't come in isolation. There will always be a biofilm. There'll always be many organisms living there. So they don't really have the tools to measure all of the organisms. Some of them are hectic parasites that reside as well. And remember, they will find a place where, like when I've talked about the spinach patches, and the one spinach is growing in the compost and there's no dis-ease, and the other one's growing in the stony soil without nutrients, and that's where the pests will come. So when we've got areas in our body that are not wholesome, not nourished, that's where the pesticides will go and live. And normally a body like that will be very acidic and have low oxygen. And that's just a recipe for disaster, because parasites love that. Bacteria, fungi, viruses, they just love an acidic body with very low oxygen. So we really want to reverse that. So we do need to do that detoxification and get all the unknowns and unwanted tissue, organisms, toxins out of the body as soon as possible, and return the body to homeostasis. And that's when we feel energized, we have energy, the blood can flow, the oxygen can get carried, the food can get carried to the cells, the mitochondria can make the energy. We've now got currency, we've got life force. That's everything I'm about. I'm not about anything else. So the path is to life force. Chi, prana, call it what you may. It is our currency. It is neg entropy. Entropy, you will downward spiral and die. So we have to constantly be building this neg entropy. It's our wallet. So let's see where we are now with the presentation. And as I said, I've got many case studies to help this area, fibroids and endometriosis. So let's have a look also at hormonal imbalances. I did speak to you just earlier about the role of stress and lifestyle and emotions, and the ability of the hypothalamus, pineal, and pituitary to secrete these hormones. I also spoke about these hormones the basis is a protein. So it gets back to the replica RNA, DNA, the 5 protein peptides. Make sure that the building blocks are there. If you're very stressed, things like progesterone and testosterone will get hammered. They will get nailed. So will dopamine. So will thyroid hormone, for that matter. So we need to always be aware of that. And normally there'll be adrenal fatigue at the same time. So the battery's flat. So how can you fix a cell phone if the battery's flat? You can't. You need to charge it first. Same here. We'll bring in the Ormus Gold, silver, copper, nickel, platinum, precious metal minerals. We'll bring in the Shilajit, 85 minerals, the Irish sea moss, 92 minerals. We'll bring those in to start charging the body, definitely. We'll bring the oil in for electrical potential. Yes. We'll bring the proteins in. Yes. We'll make sure that microbiome reset is there with the flaxseed oil to get proper digestion and absorption of food, 100%. In my experience, most people are absorbing 50% of their food. Yes, you heard right, 50%. Imagine. So what's happening to that other 50%? Well, the worms are coming. And I'm sorry, that's game over, because there's going to be leaky gut. There's going to be pain in the abdomen, migraines, headaches, because gut and brain go together. So we want to avoid all that. We don't want nests of worms and parasites and things, living in the body. We want this absolutely clear alimentary tract, digestive tract, clear circulation, blood system, and clean cells and tissues and organs. Very, very important. So the delicate balance between estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone is what we desire. So the thing is that you could be very high in estrogen, which means the testosterone is low. So people give you testosterone. Now you've got very high estrogen and very high testosterone. No, that can't be. It needs to be balanced. And that's where the MQB, formerly the SCIO, comes in, because that will actually tell me as a therapist, as a practitioner, what needs to happen. Sometimes you've got to drop the estrogen, and that's what that'll tell you. And no other human can do that without this assessment. It's not possible. So most of it is guesswork, and it's trial and error. Nobody really measures properly before and properly afterwards, and I do that. I think this is crucial. What can affect estrogen quite badly is the xenoestrogens. The xenoestrogens are all the plastic that we touch. And I just look at my desk here, there's plastic everywhere. So when we touching plastic, it's called xenoestrogens, and the estrogen level shoots up. It actually increases. And then you can get an estrogen dominant degeneration. So all of this is culminating in low libido, low vitality, poor circulation, and emotional disorder, the body being in a space of dis-ease and very far away from well-being. And your well-being. You are your own barometer. You're the one who can measure where you are and where you're not. And this is where you've got to be truthful to yourself, because we've got to get all of this right. And one thing leads to another and leads to another. You're sad, you're depressed, your libido will be low, so will your vitality be low. So one of the first things that I always do is I detoxify the body, get rid of the toxins, and we deal with the emotional release, the epigenetic generational patterning. And then we're going to start getting alchemical shifts immediately and moving towards well-being. Sometimes the endometrial like tissue can grow outside the uterus too. And there again, there's no difference in the way we address this. We're definitely going to bring in my high-low process, measure the health risk, identify root causes, realign the body and remeasure, going through the reset, restore, rejoice, and rejuvenate process. And these we've cleared up too. So it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of being patient. We sometimes use enemas to actually get topically to the site. And we have a lot of success with that too. Very, very carefully, very, very gently. And then many, many girls, young and old, and sometimes, as young as 12, are coming in with huge pain, fatigue, infertility, heavy periods. And this, again, is a classic sign of the body being in disorder, in disarray. There's dis-ease. So we have to then go back again to the beginning. Let's detoxify, not only emotionally, but also physically. And within no time, in fact, there was a lady who came that hadn't had her period for 2 years. She started on my program in less than a week, 5 days, her period had started. Can you believe that? Imagine the joy, because she was a young lady. This is how quickly things work. This is how the triggers work, and the body says, fine, I can work with this now. I've now got time. I'm not dealing with so many toxins. I've cleaned out quite quickly already, and I can start dealing with it. The pain disappears. Menstruation balances. It's not heavy. It's not thick. It's not sore. It's not lasting, 10 days. So everything normalizes very quickly. And these are all signs of symptoms of stress, lifestyle, poor nutrition. If you want to live on fast food, heated oils, very little salad, overeating, lots of fizzy drinks, not sleeping before 10 o'clock at night, not getting outside, not putting your feet on the ground, not letting the sun on your skin, and I said the earth touch your feet, you're just a recipe for disaster, because you're downward spiraling all the time. The battery is dissipating. And when the battery dissipates and we become acidic and we lose oxygen, that's when the parasites strike. That's when disease strikes. And that's when the sadness is even more. So we've got to bring all of this into consideration, and it all works together. It's no use getting into deep scientific reasons and inflammatory pathways and hormonal pathways and the various stages of detoxification of organs and things and all the various stresses. And we just got to get back and simplify things and eat simply work, water, stir fry or steam the veggies, boil or poach the eggs, grill or braai the meat, get the heated fat off. Most of this is poor eating. People use oil at the stove. Our great grannies never did that. They only used water. They use the sun to dehydrate food and things like that. But why do we have to fry everything? Why do we have to put oil over everything? Heated oil is a killer. It blocks the blood. The minute you block the blood in the vein, you get clotting, you get parasites eating the oil, it is a free radical, and you tend towards degeneration. And who wants that? I want maximum oxygen everywhere. I want an alkaline body. The blood must flow. The digestion must move. The food and the oxygen must get to the cell. The mitochondria must make energy for me. So I don't get bogged down in the reductive facts about the various systems and organs. We have to get the basics right. And to get the body back into homeostasis, this is what I do. It's my halo process. It's the same as getting the spinach in the rocky stone, undernourished soil back to order, like the spinach in the healthy composted soil. You change the soil. And every time that spinach will regrow and the pests will leave. And then we can also get non-cancerous growths. That's true. And, well, they can be removed, but I don't remove anything. I don't suggest any of that. We clear them automatically with our oxygen and our DMSO. The heavy bleeding, the pelvic pressure, the discomfort. We will even use the DMSO topically to clear pain and inflammation. So pain and inflammation, the cell oxygen and the DMSO are crucial. The almost gold is also crucial because I'm getting the battery charged. So that's how we deal with this. And as I said to you, the heavy bleeding disappears. The girls can't believe it, that it's actually happened so quickly. And that the pressure, the pain, the bloating, the distension, the discomfort disappear. And as I've mentioned many times now, reduce circulation. I will be talking to you about VitaFlow because this is crucial in terms of circulation. And last week on the presentation on ED and prostate degeneration, I talked a lot about circulation, talked a lot about the heart with men as well, underlying. But we've got to improve the circulation, reduce inflammation, and stop the hormonal decline, which I've been speaking about all along. And that role of estrogen dominance, I did tell you that. It's the xenoestrogens on all the plastics that we touch, everything here, the phone, whatever's lying here, the diary, it's all plastic. Right, so the stress hormones affect the reproductive health. That's absolutely true, because we're not getting the proper secretion of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone at the right time. Stress hormones are things like adrenaline, cortisol, and they're firing all the time because we're stressed, they're acidic, and they're disrupting the natural hormone release. So people will go and buy testosterone, buy the creams, estrogen, progesterone. Somebody's put together some sort of formula and you hope like hell. That's not how I work. So we want to bring down that stress, bring in a stress adaptogen, a mucuna, for example. I'll speak about that in a moment. Wonderful stress adaptogen. At the same time, bringing in neurotransmitters. Can you imagine? And this is overlapping with fertility, which I'll speak about next week. So now in particular, the holistic ancestral orientation, emotional release, releasing the emotional burdens and the generational patterns. And here I'm getting to the root cause beyond the physical root cause, the emotional root cause. And this is our life. We're human. We've all come to close a resistance gap. So we might be experiencing an intense fear, but what we're really wanting to do is experience it, learn from it, understand it, and close the gap to a higher level of courage. Might be extreme sadness, where we want to close the gap and move to high levels of joy. That's what we do. That's what the how emotional process does. It closes the gap of resistance that we set up, that we own, that we need to heal ourselves. It's no use blaming. Oh, but he did that, she did that. You know, then it's clear to me there's no ownership. We set it up, we're responsible, we own it. We own that emotion. It might, yes, even have come from ancestral roots. That's fine too, but it's a repeated pattern. So it's up to us to heal that and stop that legacy shifting through. So most importantly, especially young people, we want to achieve full functionality. We clear the emotional burdens that you've been shouldering since childhood, those emotional burdens that came in epigenetically in the DNA as the blood passed at birth, the ones you chose. So your brother and sister would choose different ones to you. They got different lessons they wanted to learn: betrayal, abandonment, resentment, grief, fear, jealousy. So we've got to get to this root cause beyond the physical root cause, and then we release at the origin, the memory that you've been shouldering your whole childhood. You become fully functional. So that's just amazing. That's what we need to do. Nice. And here's just, a full thing on the high-low: reset, restore, rejuvenate, and rejoice. And this was in my dissertation for my doctorate. And holistic integrated epigenetic life orientation. There's a play on the words there, high and low, because we're closing the gap. And we're working also with binary, yin and yang, if you like, balancing, getting the body back into balance. Here are some of the products that I'm going to go through. So we've got the cell vitality and rejuvenation that we get from the Almost Gold. Please go and have a look on my website. It's loaded with information, lists the 10 platinum, precious metal, minerals. Almost Gold charges the body. See it as a battery pack. Once we've got the battery charged, we can then do other things. We can bring in a raw jelly. It's one of my favorites, in particular for infertility and for degeneration, by the way. So I put it in today because these kind of disorders that we're talking about with the humans is what we need to deal with. And I'm just going to go through some of them as well. Again, the endometriosis, the fibroids, the heavy bleeding, the hormone imbalances, the infertilities, the pelvic pains, reduced libido, menopausal symptoms, chronic fatigue, where we're just told to manage the symptoms. No, we need to get to that root cause and deal with it. Raw jelly, any of the bee products, by the way, are from the female part of the plant. So they're all going to work with hormone release and the ovaries and the feminine genitourinary area. So they will gun for degenerative tissue. The raw jelly and the Almost Gold gun for degenerative tissue, too beautifully. Now we come to the crux of it. As I said to you, a high fatty diet, lots of wheat, lots of dairy, you've got a blocked blood. You've got also narrowing blood vessels and this very thick blood, low oxygen flow, low circulation, stagnation, lovely for parasites, lovely for calcification. So the oxygen comes in and starts the big detoxification process. There's no resistance from any organism to oxygen. And I've got 2 forms of oxygen, which you know. So this is capsule. I've also got the drops. Crucial. Another one here, the DMSO. You've all heard me wax lyrical about DMSO. Dimethyl sulfoxide, plant tree sap. So at the paper mills, they milk the bark and they get this beautiful levitational liquid out called DMSO. Please look on my website, search DMSO in the search bar, and you will see something amazing there. it just dissolves degenerative tissue, toxins, blood clots, anything in its way. It is remarkable, and everybody should probably take some of this every single day. It's going to help circulation because it naturally gets the blood back to its normal thickness. And what it also does is it will take whatever you give it, whether it's a vitamin, a mineral, or a medicine, and it will take it deeper into the cell. So instead of one capsule of spirulina, you're going to get the effect of 2 because it's taken it deeper into the tissue. It's a wow product. We have to have that. It helps with the endometriosis, the fibroids, the degeneration, and obviously fertility too. Now, here's a great one, my VitaFlow, because it's got 2 major antioxidants, very strong, the pine bark extract and the grapeseed. So both of these naturally form nitric oxide, which brings in neg entropy, life force, living, circulation. So this is what we need to get the oxygen flowing then to all the major areas. I would definitely look at this one to support the circulation and support renewal and realignment. Mucuna purine is one of my favorites. This one here is L-DOPA, L-dopamine, serotonin, GABA, PEA, the neurotransmitters. They're what fire the nervous system to get the nervous system going. So we need this. It's a stress adaptogen. It balances and calms you. Then the stress comes down. Then the hypothalamus pineal pituitary can secrete the hormones as necessary. So this one I'll always bring in here to combat the stress, to help. Adaptogen. It grows with the cacao plant in the forest. It's the anti-stimulant to the cacao, which is the stimulant. And then we've got my famous decalcification cleanse, because I'm always going to bring this in. We've also got the Decalci X, which is the herbal Chanca based one. But this one also very good. It's salts, and it's going to chip away at the calcification inside the vessels. Anywhere where there's calcification, when your body is acidic, you calcify. So we've got to clear this. It's almost like in the sea, round the back of the rock where the water doesn't rush, where it's quiet, that's where the coral grows. Same in the body, the brain, the bones, the vessels, the gallbladder, the kidneys, the prostate, inside the cells. And this one is an absolute wow. Opens up the vessels and the blood flows. The blood flows that will take the oxygen will be able to detoxify and cleanse. So we're going to get a very healthy blood system here, and we're going to get healthy organs. And then we've got the female hormone balance. And this one here has got a little bit of the mucuna in it. But this female hormone balance, don't be misled. It does all the organs, the thyroid, the prostate, the pancreas, the adrenals, all the endocrine glands, all of them, including estrogen and progesterone. My male hormone balance does all of them, including testosterone. But we, as women, we need testosterone anyway. As men, they need estrogen anyway. So this one, singularly, will heal. I've used this before where women in their 50s thinking they're in menopause have started this one little bottle of capsules, and the menstruation has started again. The vitality came back. Can you see? So even younger women, I give this as well, because we shouldn't really be going into menopause in early 40s. Some women go into menopause 35 and younger. So there's, problematic there. The body's shutting down due to the lifestyle and this world, how it is and how we live. So this is crucial, especially while we're waiting for the body to produce estrogen, progesterone, testosterone on its own. So there'll be a natural testosterone in there, Tribulus terrestris. There'll be chasteberry, which is going to produce the progesterone. There's black cohosh in here that's going to produce only the good estrogen. So I've put all that in, and I've also put hormone helpers. So I'm catching things along the way while we wait for the body to absorb the peptides and start making the hormones for us, while we wait for the liver to clean, while we wait for the blood to clean, etc. So that's definitely a wow. Most of these are 2 capsules in the morning. So this is how we start addressing the case studies that come in. And this particular lady, 54, absolute adrenal fatigue, which is 6 out of 7 people today in any event, lots of pain, endometriosis, fibroids. She'd been battling with this for a long time, been everywhere, lots of emotional issues, there was depression, and we shifted her to a high energy level and a sense of her own well-being. We used my halo process. We put her on the quantum machines. We did the assessment for the benchmarking. We isolated the root causes, realigned her body using the 365 Healthy by Choice toolkit, the infrared saunas, the acupunctures, the oxygen drip. And in no time, this lady's clockwork had started working again in less than a month. And this is huge because this lady she was dysfunctional. And we worked with the HOW process, and we removed the childhood burdens, the childhood experiences that she'd been shouldering her whole life. And it was linked to parents, father wanting a son, and she was born as a daughter, and there was all sorts of sexual confusion as well. So we straightened all that out for her, and how awesome that we were able to do this for her so quickly. We brought the Ormus in, the DMSO, the cell oxygen, the female hormones, the Mucuna, everything I've spoken about today. And we had a result in less than a month. So that's extraordinary. So I just want to remind you again, all these featured nutrients, they're on the website, 15% off until the end of the month. Avail yourself to that. And also book your halo process with me. At the bottom here, we've got the website address and the phone number. So in fact, it's been on every slide. So you're not going to not know how to do it. Book with me on WhatsApp or book online. You can book virtual or in person, and you can book your assessment. You can book your HOW process or whatever you need to do, but get going. Time is moving. It is moving incredibly fast. We passed halfway through the year. It's the 21st of June is the solstice. So we halfway through the year, let's say. And before we know it, it'll be 2027. Let's move. All right. Time doesn't wait for souls to move too slow. I'm going to leave that with you. And we're only living this life once. So let's make it the best. Quality years, quality time, fun, enjoyment, expansion, achieving the reason we came, self-discovery. Okay, let me leave that with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for coming in. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And I'm going to put this, upload it